Joe Biden takes on China technology, HP bricks their own printers, and Elon Musk uses X to attack his own enemies.
It's news to me. Welcome to the very first episode of It's News to Me, where the it is IT and the me is whoever it needs to be. I'm Noah Parker.
I'm Michael Trotter-Lawson.
And I'm Tyler Rasnick.
I'm going to get things started with a hypothetical question for you two. You get $10 million, but the moment you accept the money, 5 feet away, a snail spawns into existence. Okay. If the snail ever touches you, you die.
I'm with you.
What if I bribe the snail?
What is the snail's motivation for touching me?
It has...
It's its only purpose in life.
Yeah, from the moment it comes into being, the only thing it wants is to touch you and kill you.
So it's the old it follows.
Yeah.
Okay.
It follows, but it's a snail.
Snail follows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I bribe the snail?
The snail cannot be killed or coerced in any way.
So salt's
It can't.
Can I put it in a jar and just carry it?
No, because you can't touch the. You can't touch the snail.
I can get the snail in a jar without touching it. And I'll just keep it forever. It can't
I think Noah's right here.
I figured it out.
You can sweep
This isn't
it
a
into
hypothetical.
jar.
This has happened. I've done this before.
Like a Ziploc baggie even. Once it's in that, it's game over.
Maybe you can probably eat through a baggie. I don't think you could eat through a jar, though.
Does it have teeth? I don't think you can eat through anything. What do snails eat?
Maybe its slime would, deteriorate the bag, though.
That's true.
But I mean, could the slime not eventually deteriorate the jar?
Not longer than I'm going to live.
Yeah, that's true.
Glass jars last forever. Unless you drop them.
Well, that's the thing. You're trusting...
If I drop the jar and the snail comes out, I got time to react.
How long would it take a snail? Like, if I just flew the snail with me to, California, and then I dropped it on the shore, and then I flew back, would that buy me a whole lifetime?
What if you just drop it on an island? Then
it would buy you a lot of time.
Could it get off of the island?
Yeah, they can go through water, can they not? It's the whole mollusk. Mollusks are in the sea. Like
this
Gary.
Snail can.
Yeah, it's like Gary.
This snail can.
Yeah.
He's an amphibious snail.
Yeah.
Are snails amphibians?
This is like the Jason Statham of snails. He's like, I'm going to kill you. I must kill you.
This snail is unstoppable.
Like Liam Neeson.
You can slow it down, but you can't...
You can only hope to contain it.
Right.
Unless you put it in a jar. Then it's contained.
I think jar theory might have it. I don't know.
That's what I would do.
Short answer, though, yeah. I would do that.
That's well worth $10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd do it.
Okay. Cool. Glad we all agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that I trust...
But you don't trust the mason jar?
Look, I could die in a car accident. If, all I got to worry about is a snail.
How big is the snail? Can I see the snail? Or is it microscopic?
Yeah, no, it's a seeable snail.
It'd be scarier if it was small.
Yeah.
Like an insect.
Or a giant.
Yeah.
That would kind of be creepy. Like a kaiju-sized snail.
You gotta fight this thing.
That would cause a whole nother host of issues, though.
You gotta use your $10 million for a mech or something at that point.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host of issues.
All right. Well, we want to get into Joe Biden trying to combat Chinese tech.
Not really.
No. Sure.
But yes.
Okay. So for anyone not aware, President Biden issued an executive order banning new American investment in key technology industries that could be used to enhance Beijing's military capabilities.
Which is a whole, just broad range of things. Semiconductors, quantum computing, artificial intelligence.
Right.
And he did so through executive order, so that sort of, leaves some room for interpretation, but actually declaring a national emergency in order to address the situation. But, I feel like you kind of have to do that.
Do you think American investment into Chinese technology is truly that big of an issue? Like, national emergency level issue?
Yeah, the main thing, and from what I was reading, basically it's not just the money, but it's our finance industry is a little bit ahead of China's as far as you don't just get the money, you get the connections, and you get all of the everything that goes along with that internally. So, but yeah, I mean, we don't want to shoot ourselves in the own foot if, I guess, something were to happen, whether it be war or cyber warfare, land warfare, whatever.
Sure, but sorry, go ahead.
How will, limiting our investment in China, what would that affect from our perspective?
Well, I mean, we're just adding fuel to a fire we're trying to fight, essentially. I mean, it's not really going to stop anything. It's just going to slow down.
Yeah.
It's not really a sanction, but it kind of is in some ways, just because there's a lot of capital from the United States that they're no longer going to have access to for these things. They're going to have to look elsewhere. And we're very much competing with each other,
Yeah.
countries, economically and otherwise.
Right, but I guess China is one of of the two largest economies in the world, it's China and the United States, right? Mm-hmm. So we're kind of...
And China's bigger, I think. If I'm wrong about that. I believe they have the largest economy in the world. But it's different. It's basically, it's all industry. All the industry has moved to China as far as... So we're more service-based, they're more, industry-based.
I guess I wonder, there's so many nations of the world that are... I guess in terms of investment, is this purely economic, or is this just talking about investing people resources into these things? Because I feel like with all the other countries in the world that are kind of forced to do business with China because there's no one else, is us not in, to a point, not investing in Chinese technology really going to make that big of a difference?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I just know, conventional wisdom tells you don't do that when you're in the situation that we're in. I mean, it's basically just sort of preventing companies or, venture capitalist firms from giving money for certain things. They can still give money to these, just, keep them US based or European or whatever, Taiwan, Japanese, just not CCP.
I guess I just wonder, because I don't know, American industries are kind of notorious for, finding their way around anything that could limit their own financial benefit. I just wonder how effective this executive order is even going to be in terms of, stopping the companies that would want to. I
know this is not a politics podcast, but largely executive orders are usually, a lot of them are just token, look, I'm doing something about this. So, I mean, really, most of them are kind of, and a new regime comes in and they just wave a magic wand and they go away.
Well,
so
yeah, we've seen that in the past for sure.
So, I mean, I don't really know if this is really anything other than just sort of a directive saying that, hey, we would rather you not do this. And if you don't do this, then, we'll be happy with you. If you do, we won't be. But as far as what that means, and I don't even think the article mentioned, really, they didn't lay down the guidelines or, any of the regulations or rules. It's just that this is something they're going to be working towards. So, and I honestly don't even know how big of a problem or how rampant this is. I don't know. I don't follow investment news. So I don't know if a large venture capitalist firm has invested a bunch of money in foreign AI or quantum computing in China or whatever, but
I don't know, I guess it'll be interesting to see, for one, if this does have any lasting effects, and if China does anything, and if so, what they will do in retaliation.
Right.
Because we already know that they're not happy about the move.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to when countries place sanctions on each other.
Right.
Typically, the other country will counter with something else. That's very common. So I don't know what really, because I think we do have some leverage here, but I don't know 100% how that'll play out. Well, in other news, I know there's some issues with HP or Hewlett Packard, the full name, which I'll be using for this entire segment.
As will I.
I will not. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's Hewlett Packard hater.
Well,
we'll call you HPH for the rest of the podcast.
It's good reasons to hate HP.
I personally am not a fan of HP on my own because I had an HP printer a while back, and completely unrelated. It was one of those instant ink printers.
Anecdote.
And if you don't keep that subscription, even if you have 50 boxes of ink that they've sent you because they think you're constantly running out,
they're trying to be eco-friendly.
You stop paying for that subscription, your printer stops working, and it's like you got to subscribe to print this paper that you're trying to print, even though we've already sent you 50 boxes of ink.
Yeah.
So
see, it's your own fault, Noah, for not printing like several books a month
while you're at work on the work printer
to make use of that ink that you ordered.
Just what am I going to do? What am I going to do with several books a month?
You got to be eco-friendly. You got to think about the environment.
Oh yeah, so print 50 books a month. That way, I don't waste the plastic.
Hewlett Packard is trying to be eco-friendly by sending you ink before you even need it because they want to make sure that you don't run out.
Yeah.
So the least you could do is be eco-friendly to use the ink that they're sending.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Think about the trees.
I'll take that into consideration from now on.
But as for this story, similar, but a different situation where they're currently facing a lawsuit where customers are suing them because they're 3-in-1 printers, meaning that they print, scan, and fax, will not scan or fax if they run out of ink. Meaning that HP is just bricking these devices just if they don't have ink.
I don't even understand how that really benefits HP all that month. Because odds are, if people have these printers or whatever, like, they're going to print things and scan things and fax things. They've bought the printer, and they're going to buy the ink eventually. So why would HP want to stop them and, like, force them to go buy ink right now? Because they probably already sent them, like, 50 boxes.
That's true. Yeah, they've probably got some ink hanging out in the garage somewhere.
It just seems so unreasonable.
Well, I mean, they've done this before. Like, I don't remember exactly which year, but I was actually working at a retail place that sold a lot of this stuff. And when they started forcing the DRM or the digital, it's digital rights management, but it's basically they're forcing you to use HP branded ink. When that happened, you used to be able to buy like store brand ink, or you could buy the cartridges you could refill with those little syringes. I don't know if you guys remember that. It always made you feel like Breaking Bad or something. But when they forced you to do that, there was a big sort of outcry, and then it just kind of died down, and everyone sort of accepts their fate. So I think that basically Hewlett Packard and other companies such as, they see they can get away with this, and they're basically just trying to stretch it as far as they can. But I feel like this, I don't know, this may be...
It's kind of like the whole Netflix thing, you know. Everyone was like, no, password sharing is a big thing, and then Netflix is like, we don't care, we're going to take it away anyways.
And it worked.
And it worked great for them.
It totally worked.
And so now other people are going to do it.
They got millions more subscribers, and now Disney Plus is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Just not watch Netflix?
Well,
that's what I'm going to do.
Me too.
Personally. Yeah.
Well, apparently you two and no one else.
That's it.
Because it worked.
Look, if it's on a shared password that my uncle has or my uncle's brother has, then I don't have it. I don't have any streaming services unless someone's giving me like some random like Bob Jane email and then some weird password I've got to put in every 3 months when it loses connection.
But it's clear that, like, for not just HP, but like most of these printer companies, their biggest profit margin is the ink itself.
For a significant period of time,
you were buying printers to get ink.
Yeah. I would go to Walmart and I would buy a $10 or $15 printer because it was extremely cheaper than buying a new.
And that's what they do. They either sell these at cost or just very little margin, and then they really crank the margin up on the ink. And they're really forcing you in different avenues where you need the ink, because the printers are so affordable.
Well, see, we bought one of those EcoTank printers now where you just have the squeeze bottle and you fill it back up. And honestly,
Shaquille O'Neal printer, right?
I quite like it. It works well. Hasn't given me any issues, and the ink's cheaper.
Because like
Not
apparently,
a sponsor.
Shaq, please.
Apparently HP's like standalone scanner is much more expensive than these 3-in-1 printers are.
Yes.
Because they know that it's an ongoing expense for people to keep them.
I haven't looked at it. I would assume that it's like a higher DPI. It's probably it's a unitasker instead of usually you tack on something. But still, with someone just needs to scan or copy their homework or like their fake work excuse for being sick at work, then definitely.
Or new money.
Yeah, new money.
That's going.
I love printing new money.
Yeah.
at home.
It's my favorite hobby.
And me personally, I literally, every time I need to scan something, I just use an app on my phone.
Yeah.
It works fine. No one's ever gotten back to me and been like, you didn't use a real scanner.
I mean, I'll take a picture of something and go and like completely recreate it before I'll walk over to a scanner and scan something in.
Or a fax machine, even
just
worse.
because like I'm more efficient with like
I think
Photoshop.
That's just showing our youth.
I'm more efficient with Photoshop than I am a scanner.
And a fax machine.
Yeah.
Shutters.
Do people still? I mean, clearly people do still fax because we help people.
Yeah.
Who need faxes to work,
people
but,
love
like,
their fax.
It's so alien to me.
I've
Have
never
you ever
faxed
sent a fax?
anything.
I've never had to send a fax.
You ever sent a
No,
fax?
never.
Ever?
No.
Have you ever seen someone send a fax?
I
You even
there
believe
were
in
some
fax.
documents when I was applying for ETSU that I had to get faxed by someone at school over there. But I didn't do it.
Is fax the new Bigfoot? We've only heard of fax. No one's actually seen it. We just
I don't know. I feel like I've heard that fax sound.
in the
Whatever.
Matrix movie
Yeah, probably.
when he's dialing in
Yeah, you know.
the dial-up sound.
No, like the.
Oh yeah, different
Yeah.
sound.
I've
Maybe
heard
I haven't sent
dial-up
fax.
modems before.
Maybe I haven't.
I'm trying to think. Maybe I have never faxed.
It's like you're. I'm gonna sound stupid saying this, but it's like trying to email someone something over the phone. Like that's what a fax
I mean, that's
is.
basically what it is, right? I mean, pretty much.
Which I mean, that's what email was originally
It
too.
seems so.
You were sending
like,
it over the
why
phone,
are we
too.
still doing that? We
Well,
all
that's
have
just 'cause
email.
The internet used to be over the phone, right?
We all have email.
Yeah. Well, some of us. There's a few places that I've been to that I don't know if
I would rather snail mail something than fax it.
back to the snail again.
Yeah, back to the snail. I opened the mailbox and there he was on my unfaxed
It was a
paper.
close call. You
Yeah.
almost lost your.
Man, dodged a bullet on that one.
What I think is going to happen, though, depending on how this class action suit goes, but I mean, the printers are really cheap. I mean, they could always flip their business model because the ink, it doesn't cost them a whole lot to manufacture or produce. I mean, they could just, flip their business model and start charging, $300 for a printer and $20 for ink. But I don't know what's going to be best for HP. I guess they probably.
Well, I feel like almost certainly it'd be better for them to still just make ink more expensive because that's an ongoing. I mean, your printer, in theory, probably won't. Could last for years.
Well, and I guess you're raising the barrier of entry for like a middle class family or something.
Yeah.
To have a printer at their house if they're not paying $20 for one. You have to pay $300 for one.
Well, nobody goes to the library to print things anymore.
Yeah, everybody just prints recipes at work.
Yeah.
That's what the giant MFPs are here for work recipes.
And Starbucks manuals. I don't know. It is fascinating because, the HP just completely dismissed it the first time, and then these people came back with an actual quote from a support line of an HP employee saying that it was intentionally stopped because they were out of ink, and so that was kind of their grounds for
the smoking gun.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just don't think I've ever had a very pleasant printer experience.
No.
3D printers, I'm all for that. It's easier for me to print something tangible than it is a paper with ink on it.
Yeah, printers are just unnecessarily complicated.
You're tangible.
I don't know how many times I've had to, when I was working other jobs, someone would call and the printer's not working and I have to go tear the whole thing apart just to find out that someone put the wrong size paper in and it's stuck in some kind of flap somewhere and it's just the worst. I have nightmares about it still.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger conversation about right to repair and the technology is kind of plateaued and things like that. But so in the latest of Elon Musk using
X.com.
the social
Formerly known as
network,
Twitter.
formerly known as Twitter, yeah, as just his own personal
Playground?
MySpace page?
Yes, and I mean he's just Twitter is dead. Long live X.com, I suppose. But this latest controversy involves X actually taking longer to load links to external websites that Elon Musk has previously insulted, degraded, competed with. Websites and services applications that he just doesn't like.
Just based on any merit or just his personal opinion of, not a fan?
I think it's his personal opinion of meh, not a fan.
I think so, yeah.
Based on the list of sites, yeah.
Granted, this has, as of August 18th, it appears that they've rescinded this, but who knows if they're just waiting until people aren't paying as close attention anymore. But I don't know. It is wild to think of any service, any website doing something like this.
Yeah, because basically there's a website called t.co, which I wasn't really super familiar with, but that's the website/service that X/Twitter has used for years to shorten links and then provide redirects. So if someone, is it Xing now? What do you, it's not tweeting. What is it? I'm trying to use the proper nomenclature.
Applesaucing.
When they're crisscrossing something to x.com, when they cross it over, t.co shortens the link and then provides the redirect. So I guess for these whatever sites that Mr. Musk has decided are stinky, then it's a 5-second delay before the process happens. But he's reverted that. But I guess the main, fear or possible outcome is, I don't know, I haven't heard of anyone else doing this because, most large websites that have the reach that x.com has, they have standards. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what precedent this is going to set for other sites. And, maybe in, as we spoke about earlier, retaliation. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
At what point are you loading a website and you think, man, this was intentionally slowed down? How do they figure this out and know that?
They figured it out by, I'm sure someone noticed that it was taking significantly longer to load, one link over another. And I believe
Wireshark or something.
It was the Washington Post that did they did an initial study showing that, hey, certain websites are taking a lot longer to load when you click on these links compared to other websites.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting because it's like almost a anti-net neutrality thing.
Right. Ajit Pai is back. He's back from the grave. And he works at x.com now.
Who's that?
That's news from 10 years ago. Don't worry about it.
I'm not one to keep up with the news normally.
I'm sure 3 people that are listening to this. All three people that are listening to this. One of them was like, wow, what a callback. Everyone else was like, huh? Whatever.
The rest of you, I feel you.
So, I don't think I can't imagine that this would set any kind of precedent because, well, for one, it was universally panned and they just rapidly backtracked. Literally hours after the Post uploaded that article, they're like, oh, it's just...
Well, I think it was more of kind of a ha-ha prank type thing because Elon Musk loves his little oh, this is going to be, 420 or whatever, his little fun internet meme prank. I think honestly that was probably, he was like, well, let's see how long it takes someone to notice, and he was like, we'll back it off, I don't care, I'm Elon Musk.
So how much of X at this point /Twitter is an actual company or just a website that Elon Musk takes care
of? A Nathan for You segment? Yeah, I don't know. It's some wild thing.
Yeah, it all feels like a big joke. And not in a, don't take him serious because he's Elon Musk, but just in it seems like he's literally just there to goof around and do whatever.
A sad Steve-O huffing CO2 cartridges in his apartment.
Just for attention. Yeah.
Well, I think there is definitely an element of, this is just attention seeking. But at the same time, I do think that there's an element here where Elon Musk truly believes that what he's doing is going to be the best thing for Twitter and himself to be successful. Maybe himself primarily, but almost certainly himself primarily, but...
Yeah, by extension, x.com.
I think he's gotten to a point where he doesn't believe that, things will ever go so wrong for him. So he's willing to try these outlandish things that no other company would dare do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, from a completely, objective standpoint, it's kind of interesting
Yeah.
to see all the things
It's
that
an
he
interesting,
does.
case study almost.
It's very I don't know if it's really Howard Hughesy, but it's kind of is
Yeah.
where I don't know, some 40 years, 50 years from now, people are going to look back and be like, "Wow, what a weird guy."
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. It'll be in a history book or something.
And we'll get a documentary.
Yeah, we'll get
Biopic.
Leonardo DiCaprio will be 95 and he'll be playing Elon Musk
I don't know, who
through,
do you
through
think-
AI and CGI.
Who do you think would actually play Elon Musk in a movie? I bet it'd be Vince Vaughn.
Maybe Vince Vaughn, possibly.
Well, it can't be anyone that's roughly the same age as Elon now.
No, because this would be 50 years later. It's someone that hasn't even been born yet.
It's you, Michael.
I don't think so.
You could do it.
I can see it.
I'm not an actor.
We
Not
talk
yet.
about. We act all the time. I act like I'm having a good time on this podcast.
What a
Yeah.
jerk.
I'm
Like,
just kidding.
Who would play Grimes? Were they married?
Isn't she
Aren't
a
they
musician?
No, they're not together anymore. She's a musician. It was a weird thing. The whole thing is strange. And they have a kid together that's a bunch of letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Does anyone know how to
I
actually
can't-
pronounce that? Because I don't.
I don't. I looked it up the other day because I was wondering. Well, because here's one thing that bugs me about X almost more than any other part of it at this point. Which there's a lot of things that bug me about what Twitter has become, and it's the fact that we have these shorts that we produce 3 times a week. Twitter's been in the news a lot lately, and every time that we would do a story about Twitter, we would show the Twitter logo on screen. And it's very easy to find the Twitter logo because you just search Twitter logo,
Right.
and it comes up. You search X logo,
Oh, no.
you get 10 million logos just based off of the letter X.
Okay, I
Because
thought
of
this was
course
gone
you
somewhere
do.
else.
No. You get that when you search triple X logo. But
Not that I've
Then
ever
you
done
just
that.
get pictures of Vin Diesel.
And Vince Vaughn. Wait, also, what's the other guy? Ice Cube? Who's the other in the Triple X?
I think it
team?
is. I think it might be.
It's both.
But it is genuinely difficult to find a high quality version of the X logo. I had to go and find the original Twitter post of the guy who suggested the logo to Elon Musk in the first place.
Wow.
When he was like, give me a good enough X logo and we'll change Twitter to X overnight. And he did. So
He's kind of like Willy Wonka. But instead of a chocolate factory, he owns
he's like the
a BS factory.
what's the he's the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka.
Yes. Yes, actually. 100%.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Kind of messed up in the head, but he doesn't tell anyone, and then he just does really weird stuff.
Yeah, then he
Then he kidnaps
Kills
a
a
bunch
bunch
of
of children.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree.
My favorite thing is when people say, yeah, no.
No, yeah. No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, maybe.
Possibly.
Could
Yeah,
happen.
also the X logo sucks.
It does. I kind of hate it.
I don't like the term. It's not catchy. You guys are the marketing guys, but X,
But
That's
yeah, I just
stupid.
don't. I don't see what was so wrong with Twitter.
there was nothing wrong with sure there were things wrong with Twitter, but Twitter as a brand was good. The Twitter logo was recognizable, it was well designed.
Tweets or
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Even with if you didn't know what Twitter was, if someone said I tweeted something, you'd have a general idea of oh, you've announced something or you've projected something
Yeah.
out. It makes sense.
I find it interesting that Elon was all about, he wanted free speech and he wanted to make X the everything app. And he was pretty well known and pretty relevant and popular at the time. Why didn't he just make that instead of trying to take over
The
Twitter?
thing is, it is incredibly difficult to start any social network from scratch.
Yeah, market share is hard to get on social networks.
At this stage in the game, there's a reason that Threads was probably the Twitter competitor with the best chance of succeeding, and even it has kind of already started to like fade away.
And they have a big brand behind it. So like it's someone
like,
starting something from scratch has no chance.
You could already transfer all your Instagram followers and following list over to Threads, and even that has not worked.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's no wonder that these other competitors like Mastodon and Blue Sky and things like that are, you know, still just way smaller than
Well, it's
X.
like with Reddit. I don't know if you guys knew sort of what happened with the Reddit API changes a couple months ago.
The Reddit blackout.
Yeah, so I used an app called Alien Blue on my phone. I've been using it for 9 years. I bought it originally. I was one of the first people to buy it. So great app, had a lot of cool features. It's gotten better over the years, but then they announced the change, and I have to use their official Reddit app, which sucks. And so everyone in protest, as the Alien Blue, the developer that created it, basically said that he was going to move to a different platform entirely, take his app and move it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But no one's, I mean, the app's still great, but the site, I forgot it. I don't even know the name of the site. That's how like little that it caught on. But there's other, I guess, link aggregators, which is what Reddit is, that have popped up, but none of them have the market share because it's all community driven. So if you don't have the community, then you don't have anything. Your product is the community.
Right.
So yeah, it's really not feasible at this point.
Makes sense.
And I mean, eventually maybe there will be a competitor to Twitter, but I mean, it'll take years. And I don't know if Threads is that, or there's some other new kind of way to interact in social media, whether that be video or something we're not thinking about that, you know, takes over. Because I know that like 20 years ago, people probably thought that MySpace would still be here. I mean, everybody had one. And it was very popular, and it was like a flash in the pan. It was like 5 years, and it was pretty much gone.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I mean, at this point, you see like, Facebook is still doing quite well for itself.
Yep.
But Facebook is very much starting to like die out in the sense that a lot of its users are, you know, older.
Yeah, no one that's under the age of probably 20 even has a Facebook, if I had to guess.
In America, at least. I mean, there's definitely like, Facebook is still, the reason that Facebook has been able to grow at all in like the last 3 to 5 years is just branching out to, you know, more developing countries. I think India is probably their fastest growing market. Of course, because there's 1 billion people in India. So
yeah, I have a friend whose kids are in high school and they don't have it. They don't have a Facebook, and they don't have. It's not that their parents wouldn't let them have one; they just have no desire to have one. They've got Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram, and there's another one. There's like a fourth one that I'm even too old to know about. I don't even know what it is. Right. It's a messaging app though that they just send messages on.
I use Discord for that.
Yeah, that is true. Discord's great.
Discord is a fantastic piece of software. One of my favorites, personally.
Do you guys remember Xfire at all?
No.
Those are the dark days of PC gaming before Discord.
I didn't even start using Discord until college.
Because even before Steam, even when Steam launched, like it was basically just a place for you to find your keys, essentially. You didn't have friends. And if you wanted to play with people, like you either used AOL Instant Messenger, Windows Live Messenger, or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was this program called Xfire, which was basically Discord before Discord. And it was just video. It was like basically a voice channel, so you could just drop in, and you'd start a voice channel, all your friends could. But those were the good days, I guess. But Discord is way better.
Yeah, Discord was originally going to be called Wyvern.
Oh, no.
Huh.
Oh,
Isn't
God.
that interesting?
Oh, honey,
Yeah.
what did you do? Discord is better. Way better.
Well, I know. That's
imagine if Discord just changed their name to like y.com. Because that wouldn't make any sense.
That's what they should call Twitter now. Why?
So what if the Snail also had $10 million?
And
He can't spend money. He's got no hands.
Well,
Does
let's
the Snail-
assume that it can.
Well, does the Snail have like any understanding of like economics?
This one does.
This one does?
Yeah.
This snail seems a bit unrealistic, I'll be honest.
But this snail's unbeatable, has this understanding of basic economics or advanced.
I'm just saying,
Can this snail invest?
You give a snail $10 million, I can still put him in a jar.
Because I'll tell you what this snail can't do is invest in any Chinese AI, quantum computers, or semiconductors.
Well, he can, it's just limited.
It's just limited.
Limited.
Well, you said the snail was an American.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's probably French. It's French, isn't it?
French.
It's a French.
And on that note, let's escargot.
Thank you for listening to the first ever episode of It's News to Me. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see or hear more like it, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@BurkIT or go to our website at burkitc.com. Our theme music is Big City Lights by Up in the Air. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks to hear more from me, Noah, and Tyler. And in the meantime, keep your data secure and your mind sharp. Today we're talking about the latest in China's ongoing... Sorry, I just get...
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
You're overthinking it.
I am
You just say
overthinking
the
it.
3 words. China, HP, something.
I can't just say China, HP, and X.
Hewlett
That's-
Packard. Yes.
Can it be that short? I don't know.
Ex-China, Hewlett Packard.
Maybe like Joe Biden bans Chinese investments. Hewlett Packard stops. What is it we want
I'm
to say
not
about
going to
that?
say Hewlett Packard.
You gotta say Hewlett Packard.
Hewlett-
People might think you're talking about health points.
Hewlett Packard.
We should have started this before
Green,
3:30.
probably. That's maybe a lessons learned for today.
Yeah.